Yeah, within 12 hours, we're talking about two separate gas stations here in the city of Detroit. Incidents involving accelerants and fire. Look at all of this damage. An angry customer used gasoline and a blowtorch to light it on fire. And the clerk that was on duty, a 27-year-old guy, he actually had to run through the flames to safety. He didn't have another option. The video picks up here.
I want my money back.
Well, I don't care, because I've told you one time, I've told you 200 times. You're not getting your money back because we don't take back used lottery tickets.
All right, then I'm about to light your ass up.
Well, get the fuck out of my store and I'm calling the police on your ass.
Fuck you, bitch. Burn, bitch.
You have reached the City of Detroit 911 Emergency Center. All operators are handling emergency calls. Remain on the line. Do not hang up. Your call will be handled by the next available operator.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's No BS News Hour with my main man, Scarlett.
No bullshit!
It's just it, breaking this. Dub or bullshit. Dub or bullshit.
Hey, Scoop, man, stop texting me in the middle of a show. It's Scoop Stanton is the partner of Walter Yerkew, who's our guest today. Okay, so Walter is the host of the 7.5 Radio on the Liberty Radio Network. Walter, how do you put this? He's the star of a documentary. If you haven't seen it, this thing is unfucking believable, isn't it?
It's wild. It's riveting.
It's better than Goodfellas, and it's a documentary. It is it's called The 7.5, and it's a story about the world's most dangerous police precinct, right? In East New York in the late 80s when crack was rolling, and a crew of bad cops. Walter was one of them. I think he got arrested in 89. He's done his time. He's doing things, and we just had to have him.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good conversation, Charlie.
The guy is an honest talker, and I know East New York, and to this day, East New York is the most violent precinct in New York City.
So not much has changed.
Not much has changed. It's in East Brooklyn. It's way out there on the border of Queens. Stop calling, Scoop. What? Come on.
Now,
dude.
why is he calling?
I don't know. I'm gonna have Walter slap him around. Trying to get on. But first,
or is there something he doesn't want on? That's the other thing.
No, Walter's a true talker. I can't wait for this. But first, word from a couple of sponsors. If your business is staggering in the darkness of the digital dome, if your profits are jaundiced, if your growth is anemic, there's light. XG Service Group, specialists in voice over internet, security cameras, and off-campus access control, Wi-Fi for homes and businesses, drive-through systems, railroad cameras, total wireless camera systems for the home and the business, and Supernova customer service. Call me at Matt Yaskovitz at 734-245-4100. Mention NBN and you'll receive a 15% discount. No, I don't like that. You will receive a 20% discount. Thank you, Bernie. Right over there. 20%. NBN, 20% free consultation. And Mark.
Yeah. Hi.
Trouble sleeping, bro? How do we fix it?
Oh my God, do I have trouble sleeping? Well, one of the things I like to use, no joke, is Next Evo Naturals. They combine for the sleep. They combine the melatonin, so it knocks you out, and the CBD does its work. They also have stress reducers, lots of stuff. So right now, stay well this summer with smarter CBDs. We like things to be smarter. From Next Evo Naturals, go to nextevo.com/nobs. That's nextevo.com/nobs to get 20% off your very first order, $40 or more. I know there's a lot of variables there. 20% off nextevo.com/nobs.
Okay, I don't like it. I like the books to balance out. So Bernie is going to give you 20%, And next Evo is going to give you 15.
Wait a minute. I couldn't remember the code for my first
I can't
order.
believe you did that.
Do it again.
No, wait a minute. So do I get 20% on my second order?
Use a different email address. That would be my suggestion. I have no idea, Karen.
Let it go.
Not
There's
good
only
customer
one
service to me.
The only way to find out is by doing it.
All right, I'll try it.
Did you just do that? It's not customer service to me.
I said I want 20% off.
I got to hear back from these sponsors because negative Karen over
That's
here.
not negative.
All right.
I ordered something from them. Oh no.
Oh, see, now you got Bernie for free. You have security cameras, don't you?
Well, then I'm done.
You
Yeah.
have wires all over
you
the
know
place.
What? I don't, but I'm going to call. I need those though, because I can keep an eye on my neighbors. Okay, thank you. Let's go. Come
Okay,
on, let's go.
okay, yeah, 734.
Thank you, Bernie.
4100 for Bernie. All right, I like it. It's like an auction. And
Who's up next?
NADR experienced overseeing more than $250 million in private and public construction projects since 2001. ADR competent. Reduce your costs, increase your bottom line, saving clients millions. ADR consultants are experts in procurement and government compliance and information technology, and I believe they've overlapped with XG Service Group. That's what happens here.
That's good.
Call Barry Allen Tuck at 248-318-9424 for a consultation. Get the job done right on time, on budget. ADR 248-318-9424.
I'm
Now-
Grace Carroll, and I'm third generation
No.
of American.
No! You two!
Am I fired again?
You get back in there. Come in here with a new attitude.
A new attitude. You already said he likes Drew better, so maybe that's what it is.
Now,
Yes. What do you got?
the latest commercial from our favorite restaurant, American Coney Island. Roll it.
Right now?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
Grace Carroll, and I'm third generation of American Coney Island. People say Detroit's a comeback city. I say, where you been? We've been here for over 100 years. My family's been here on the same corner, serving our famous proprietary American Coney Island hot dog. So like always, we're keeping things fresh, updated, and new. We'd love to have you come downtown and visit us, but if you can't, you can always go to AmericanConeyIsland.com, order a Coney kit, get it delivered fresh right to your door.
See how she caught that Coney box?
Hey, that was better than Red's commercial that he does. I'm sorry,
There
Red.
she goes
I
again.
like that. That's not negative. I'm saying Grace did an excellent job. I like that commercial.
Did you see her catch the box?
Yes,
You know
I
she's
did.
in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah,
That's
that-
cool.
look,
And it shows.
I just want to say, Karen, you're the last one I expected to hear that from. I get enough shit from him.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said that was a compliment to Grace, not an insult to you. That's all.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to explain yourself, my friend.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Yes, you do. That's what you do.
Only the sponsors.
if you want
Right.
Hey, listen, I ordered something before you even asked me to, so don't tell me that.
And if you want to see Karen's latest defense to the giveaway nature of the Connected Here in Detroit Reader column next Tuesday in the Detroit News, you, a red-blooded American on Independence Day, will be fucking livid because Karen's dropping bombs. But she didn't want to be negative.
No, I'm not negative.
The city for sale. Jeez, talk about thieves, man. Shakedown. Oh, my God. Listen, okay, real quick. Today, historically, the Supreme Court rolled back affirmative action on college campuses. This will have ramifications all over the place. We've all been, all of us adults have been thinking about this all of our adult lives, quite naturally. We'll get to that on another day when we have
More to talk about.
more experts and, lawyers. And
But
we
to-
have
but
we
to
have a
look
lawyer
at
sitting here, Chris Anderjack, with his son CJ, who'll take us out with the Star Spangled Banner at the end of the show. You're gonna want to see that. He's all grown up now. Little angelic voice back in the day. Come over here, sit on my lap, young man. Show him how you grew up.
No,
He's all grown up now. He's got hair on his legs. It's unbelievable.
No lap sitting. Not.
I hope they watch this show on the college campus, boy. I tell you that.
You'll never live it down. Don't do it.
Okay, but listen, affirmative action about lifting boats. I've got some affirmative action for young black children. Tear down the fucking dope house next to the school. I went back this weekend, and the faces of the dope fiends were bathed in a warm light on the front porch, given off by a hibachi grill. Swear to God, they were cooking barbecue on the front porch of the rotten house directly across Verona Street from the tidy home of Ken Berman. And across the other street is the Pulaski Elementary School. The junkies were cooking sausages by the smell of it. Now, the abandoned house has become a magnet for suburban drug addicts, a sort of low-level gentrification. All the amenities they need are within walking distance. A gas station to buy hot dogs and copious dope houses to score cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl. The Ghost House across from the elementary school actually belongs to the Detroit Land Bank Authority, which answers to City Hall naturally. The neighbors like Ken and Frankie and Al have been complaining for years about the eyesore. Now it's become a public safety nightmare for the children. The school staff are afraid. The parents are incensed. The junkies not out in the garage sometimes. Sometimes they pull down their pants in front of the school kids. Kenny said the city owns this and they need to do something. Now Kenny's walks around wheezing and toting his oxygen tank. This is what Kenny gets in his later years. He says the city only takes care of its friends and not the people. But I reminded Kenny that the city is a public collective and that there's simply not enough money in the public pot to cure every ill that plagues it. There should be priorities, however. And a dope house next to an elementary school is nothing I have ever seen in America. Not in Oakland, California. Not in East New York, New York. Have you seen that? Have you ever seen a dope house, Walter, in front of an elementary school? Yeah.
No.
Nah. That's Walter, man. That's crazy ass East New York, 1988, Dominican cocaine gangs. Never happened. Does not happen in Chicago, Illinois, and it does not happen in Livonia, Michigan. The children should come first. That's the priority. So why do I keep telling you all? It's doubtful many of you reside on the city's wild east side. I'm reminding you because you pay for this. The federal government has sent at least $1/3 of $1 billion to Detroit to battle its blight problem. To say that the city has mishandled that money is to put it generously. Then there's the humanity of the thing. Consider the school kids. Then think about Ken, and then Frank, and then Al, our fellow citizens. Certainly their lives matter. And that's what this is all about. Fighting City Hall, I've learned, does create hard enemies and stony hearts. So I tried another way. I called the mayor's man last Thursday and detailed the situation about the school kids. And wouldn't you know it?
What happened?
The following day, the police came with a battering ram and breached the door. The junkies, incredibly, had put their own locks on the doors and carried their own keys, no less, and refused to come out. So after beating down the door, the cops gave the unwanted neighbors 20 minutes to get their shit together and get gone. When police kick down a door and run off a mob of human pincushions, you start to believe things can change. Then city workers came and sealed the doors with plywood and heavy bolts. So, get this.
Drum roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor!
But the junkies came back Saturday night. Couldn't get in. But not wanting to let a pleasant summer evening go unused, they partied in the backyard, hidden by the overgrown trees, using the hibachi for mood lighting. Then Monday morning came, and the contractors for the city came to assess the soundness of the structure. I know. It's a bureaucratic step required before demolition can commence. Now, Kenny wondered how a house with phantom windows, bootleg piping and wiring, and a tree limb snaking below the shingles of the roof might be considered sound. Patience, I advised him. Rome wasn't demolished in a day. Yeah, okay, then Kenny said, pointing to the copse of mulberry trees that had grown over the sidewalk. But tell the land bank, Kenny says, to at least come over and cut down the trees and mow the grass. I told him I'd ask. So I'm asking. Come cut down the trees so the sidewalk's visible, so the children are safe. And please, tear down the house before school starts. And if you're not going to tear down the house, sell it to me, and I'll tear it down.
It's good, Charlie.
It's not good. I mean, how about some action that's affirmative?
Well, That's a little step. I mean, it's not much. I mean, because the mayor's pushing solar panels to fight blight. That's been the big thing over the past couple days. So I don't get the connection, but
I got one.
What?
How about we give these houses to people who lost houses when all that extra shit was going on?
I'm sorry, because that's dumb. That's more talking bullshit. These houses are fucked. You can't live. They're done. Everybody that bought one of these and tried to fix it up can't fix it up because it. How much does it cost, Bernie? $100,000 to fix up a totally stripped down house? At least $100,000. Really? I bought it for $1,000. It's a pipe dream. It's stupid.
Oh, my bad. I stay in the Normandy, so my perspective is all up from there.
Let's build. And again, I mean, how is a solar paneling supposed to stop blight? You know what's cheaper? Hibachi grills. We can create more light quickly if we just give everybody a hibachi grill.
But that was the narrative being pushed the other day. This is going to fight blight. They brought, one of the directors out and talked about how this was going to resolve blight. I didn't get the connection, but that was
more bullshit.
Yeah, that was the talking point of the day.
Bullshit tax reform and solar paneling. And, when you Google this crap and you look year after year, it's the same thing. 10 million over here, 10 million over there. I've been asking for 2 years for this house. 2 years. You want to help a kid? You want to get people out of the cycle of poverty? Mm-hmm. Care about them. Keep them safe. It's easy. This is a no-brainer.
And it's basic stuff. It's not like you're asking for anything above and beyond what should be provided anyway.
Yeah, Chris, 1/3 of $1 billion, dude. Where do you think that came from? That came from the Trouble Asset Relief Program. That was everybody in America chipping in. And where is it?
Speed bumps.
Tell you what, now I quickly want to recognize and think about, and I won't say pray. If I don't like people telling each other to pray. Malik Shabazz, the chairman of the New Black Panther Party here in Detroit. You know him from the program. He suffered a major stroke. He's at Henry Ford Hospital. He's on a ventilator. I'm not sure. Guys, whatever you think of him, and there's a lot to think about. Mm-hmm. He's been a warrior out in the streets.
Yeah, he has.
He does care.
He's gotten some crack houses torn down.
He goes to crack house and he punches the door open and get the fuck gone. I mean, who does that?
I want to say the last piece that I was did on the crack house, I had the honor actually watching him in action live. He goes in fearless. He don't give a damn, and he don't treat them like lesser than. Mm-hmm. He works for everybody. The neighbors, as well as trying to encourage the folks with the drug use and problems to get some help. So he was a really solid guy.
You got a little clip of that? You remember we were trying to shut down the crack house? The crack house got shot up. 5 people shot inside, 2 dead on the lawn, right? And we go out there. I don't send Red. I said, Red, it's part of No Bullshit News. How Red goes out there 2 days later, and it's still in business.
Wow.
We got a little something, Mark?
Yeah, I've been rolling B-roll where he walks in there. Yeah,
what people listening can't. Yeah,
I know.
But I'll tell you this too. When Malik read your story and heard us talking about the very drug house that you just talked about a second ago across from the school, he sent me a text message. He said, "Hey, what can I do? Where is it? What can I do to help?" So he listened. He was a friend of the show and a friend to Detroit, even if his methods weren't understood or respected by everybody.
There was a time at the bankruptcy, I think it was 2013, they're talking about running Detroit into bankruptcy, and he's at a meeting and he says, white man take this city, we will burn it down. And I'm like, there goes Malik again, a little fire and brimstone Black Pantherism.
Well,
and I wake up in the morning and the clock alarm goes off. It's like WJ, breaking news at 7 in the morning, and it's Malik going, we'll burn it down. And I'm like, whoa. I call Malik and go, yo, brother, I think you might have some problems. Meet me at 10 o'clock. So we meet north of Hamtramck in a burned down neighborhood. We in front of a burned out house. And he's a mountain of a man. And,
he's big.
I look really small next to him. And I'm wearing a buckskin jacket and shit. And I'm looking up at his eyes. And I say, the fuck is the matter with you? That's how the news piece starts out. What the bleep is the matter with you? I go, it's all burned down, dude. Isn't there going to come a point when we all going to care about each other? Maybe bankruptcy could help us all. Isn't it time? This great sin of ours, like black fighting white and white fighting black, like time to move. And it was great because his shit was completely ridiculous. He goes, I didn't say, hey, white people, I say burn down white supremacy. And I'm like, all right. Okay. That might do it. And it did throw a little water on the fire, so to speak. And, we've been pretty good pals since. So I am thinking of him. And I'll be honest, I went to the hospital and I couldn't reach his cheek to give him a kiss because he had all the stuff and the wires and the ventilator tube. So his feet were poking out of the blanket. So I kissed his foot. What would Jesus do?
That's a good question, Charlie. But you did what you felt you could and should do at the time. So that's admirable.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the afterlife, No Bullshit News Hour, this segment with Walter Yerkew is brought to you by Luke Nowacki.
This message of uplift is brought to you by business and personal wealth advisor Luke Nowacki, who reminds you that what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but never enter the kingdom of God? But while you're waiting, Nowacki wants you to remember that overreaction is not a sound financial strategy. So call Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748 for sound financial advice.
Did you know that with Hall Financial's new Easy Start program, you can lock your mortgage rate 2% below the current market? If you were to purchase a $250,000 home with 5% down, instead of paying $1,600 per month, you only pay $1,300 per month, saving you almost $4,000 a year. See if Easy Start is a fit for you. Get started now at 866-CALL-HALL or go to callhallfirst.com.
You guys got? Is that me? Thank you.
It's like, why is the camera shaking? It's a Bernie delivery.
Oh, it's Bernie, right. What's Bernie working on the cameras? That's XG Service Group. I want 25% off.
XG Service Group to the save again.
Now, last but certainly not least, Legacy Partner Insurance. When's the last time you checked your home and auto insurance rates? If you haven't checked in the past year, then chances are you're paying too much. But if you work with Legacy Partners Insurance, they won't let that happen. Legacy keeps an eye on your rates and continuously shops all carriers to make sure you have the best program. If you haven't called them this year, then call them now, and you'll probably be pissed off at your current provider. Not only does Legacy do home and auto, they also have great life insurance programs and can even get you signed up for Medicaid and Medicare. That season's coming. So give them a call today for any insurance need at 586-209-4106. All right, now, it's the part y'all been waiting for. Walter Yerkew. I don't even know what to look. He was a NYPD cop in the 7-5 precinct in East New York, Brooklyn, at the height of the crack wave. I guess, Walter, what do you say? You were part of a crew, Mike Dowd's crew, right? Who is known to this day as New York's dirtiest cop. And in the history of that great city, that's not a little sobriquet to have. That's quite a nickname. You're now the host of 7-5 Radio, the Liberty Radio Network. And welcome to the No Bullshit News Hour, brother.
Well, thank you very much, man. I'm happy to be here with you finally.
Yeah, no, I know his partner on his radio show, Scoop Stanton, and I called in a couple times, just bullshitting late Saturday, have a few pops, and this is the first time I've seen his face, and he's a funny guy. I mean, I love New York. You know I love New York. And then it starts coming out what his background is, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy's fascinating. And then we all watched that documentary, the 7-5, and man, Walter, like just from the beginning, like how did you become a cop? Where are you from?
Originally from Long Island, the west end of Long Island, in
Suffolk.
I became a cop.
Nassau?
Because I was tired of being a union carpenter and working dumbass hours and shit. So took the test, I passed it, and a couple of years later they called me. Went down for the physical, the psychological testing, and all that other stuff. I got accepted in July '85.
And
went through six months of the police academy. And you're in the police academy to pass the tests that they give you at the end of each 2 months. And the day you get your badge and gun is the day before graduation, which was at Madison Square Garden, by the way, they pretty much tell you to take all your books and throw them in the garbage because they ain't going to work out there.
Wow.
So did 6 months on probation in Queens in the 113. And from there, I went to the 7.5. I saw a lot of dirt when I was a rookie.
Well, let me stop you there.
Found some money here and there when I was a rookie.
Let me stop you there for a second, Walter. So you decide you need a career change. And you're going to take by the way, I took the NYPD test. I believe I got 99 out of 100. It's not a hard test. It's they give you like drawings of a footprint, and then they say this footprint looks most like which other footprint. It's like a cartoon.
Matching game.
Yeah, it's the matching game. It's like, well, that footprint's the same as that footprint. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard.
Yeah, they also give you a street maze, start and a finish, and you got to drag a pen through the street maze to take the shortest route to get there. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Now I did that because it was after 9/11, and I got tired of being a reporter and watching people of action do stuff. I wanted to do stuff. When you decided to become a cop, was there something altruistic in the reason to do it, or was it just a paycheck and you were sick of being a construction worker?
It wasn't just a paycheck. I mean, I'm a carpenter to this day. I still build stuff. It wasn't just a paycheck. Yeah, I wanted to do things out in the street and help people. I was always a sociable kind of person, social worker kind of guy. And maybe I could make a difference. And I think I did in a couple of ways. But people tend to look on a negative of what I was doing and what I got involved with.
Why don't
you just talked about it yourself. You had the drug den right next to the school. If that was in my neighborhood in East New York, Brooklyn, it would have lasted maybe a day. I would have took all their money and all their drugs, put them out of business, make them owe the bigger guy their money and drugs, and you never would have seen them again.
And would you have kept the money in drugs back in the 80s?
Of course. Well, I keep the money. The drugs I turned over to a local fella, or I had a contact in the Wall Street area. So
you'd sell the dope.
A lot of the merchandise that I found went to the Wall Street area. So I don't know if you can blame me for the recession, but
did you give it to them, or did you give it to them, or did you sell it to them?
Oh, I turned it over. I sold it to them, 50 cents, 60 cents on the dollar. Back then, just say Kia Coke was going for 25 grand. I'd get probably 13, 14 grand for it.
So how does a guy who looking for a career change, you're looking for a career change, you want to do some good, how does it flip like that for you?
Well, you think you're out there, you're doing some good, but you're just out there. The department used to call it omnipresence. If they saw you, they wouldn't do nothing wrong. But they really didn't train you to see if there was anything wrong going on. I mean, you were just sitting out there. They put you out on a street corner that you've never been before, and you don't know who the hell is aiming a rifle at you out the window. In time, you make enough arrests, and these arrests, they go by the wayside, and they usually back out on the street on the same footpost you were yesterday before you get back to work. So it was just a revolving door, as they say. That's the cliche for the past 40, 45 years. It was a revolving door back then. And,
so what happens to you? You just decide, well, what the fuck is the difference then?
Well, no, not so much that. What's the difference? There were times I just kept the money and let the guy walk. You take him down the end of an alleyway and you take his stuff away from him and you tell him not to come back. Well, turned out he couldn't come back because I had the money he was supposed to pay his superior.
Walter,
and he's responsible for it.
To that point,
So the guy ends up dead is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I have no idea about that. Just didn't see him anymore.
Or at least out of business.
I understand how it would be maybe skimming.
Wait, you just jumped over that. He goes, I don't know if he was dead. You just didn't see him anymore. I decided to go back to, Dominican Republic.
He was out of business.
He's out of breath. Come on now.
But I understand skimming money because maybe you're just a little. It's unethical, but you see these people coming through the revolving door over and over. How does it make that leap to a full-on, almost a criminal enterprise where you guys were, breaking and entering after the police were there to shake them down? I mean, it really grew from what I think people would turn a blind eye to a full-on criminal enterprise.
Well, when you get a call, like you saw the 7-5 documentary, obviously.
Terrific.
And when you get called to a place and you open up a closet and there's a bag full of money, there's not much you could do because the cops are everywhere. There's not much you could do about it. The only thing you could do is make note of it, keep an eye on it, and maybe something else will pop up in there, and you could be first on the scene, get in and out. Mainstay was to get the money and dope away from these guys, and like I said, they'd leave. They wouldn't come back.
What was I guess I should explain. At some point, there almost becomes a crew. Well, there was a few crew. The 77th in Brooklyn got taken down. Heat's on the 75th, but there's a crew in the 75th led by Mike Dowd. Who was his partner?
Kenny.
What's his last name, man?
Ural.
Yeah. Okay, and then what was his name? Chicky?
Chicky was his first partner.
Chicky, yeah. And then Chicky quit because the Heat was getting
yep.
on from the 77, so Chicky was the street guy. And then you come into it, Walter. If we could play a little, I'm going to ask your permission. You probably don't have permission, but fair use, YouTube. So fuck you. You're going to hit us with this fair use commentary. This is Walter in the documentary 7-5. You can see it on YouTube. I really, really recommend it.
Mike had a friend.
This is Adam Diaz, the head of the Dominican dope
Tall
gang.
guy. His fucking hands are like 3 of my hands.
Walter?
Yeah, Walter. Fucking big guy, huge guy. Motherfucker's big.
Walter's a madman. Just straight up adrenaline. Go through the window, go through the door, didn't bother. Straight up madman. Michael liked the idea of me being around because I was a big fucking guy. 6'5", 290 pounds. I'd break your fucking neck if your neck needed breaking.
The first time I saw Walter, I said to myself, bad.
So how do you fall in with Mike Dowd?
It was actually a story that he says I don't tell well.
Good enough for us.
I knew about Mike. I knew about Mike at the precinct. I was there about 5-6 months, and then we finally had a foot post together, an adjoining foot post at Martin Luther King Park in East New York. And I was walking out the back door, and I started walking down the street. It wasn't far; it was about a half a mile to walk down there. And he goes, "Oh, where you going? Where you going?" I turn around. It was him. He says, "Come on over here." Puts me in his Hyundai, and we drive over there, which, of course, you're not supposed to do. And we park him, and we sat there the whole time in his car most of the time. It was cold. It was November. And I noticed this white guy walking around. I figured he was out there buying dope. And he says, "You hungry?" "Yeah, I'm hungry." We take off. We went to a bodega, and he gets these burgers, and it turned out that it was an 8-pack of beer. Remember the Nips, the Budweiser Nips? And we go back and we sit in his car. Now I can't eat spicy food, man. I'm delicate when it comes to spicy food. But those Latinos in East New York, Brooklyn, they really spiced that damn hamburger up. And like I said, it's November. So, I got my duty jacket on, then I got a shirt on, then I got a sweater on, then I have a vest on, then I have a T-shirt on. I mean, it was cold. It was November. And by the time I got halfway through to that burger, I was down in my T-shirt. It looked like I just took a shower. I was soaking wet from sweating, from eating all that food. And then there's this white guy still walking around. And, Michael noticed him sort of, and I noticed him sort of. And then it was time for Michael to really go and have dinner. And I said, take me back to the station house. I'm going home. Because I wasn't feeling good after I ate that damn burger. So, Mike goes to have his dinner at 8 o'clock. I asked the sergeant if I could go out, sign out and go home. And he said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I signed out and I went home. 3 days later, I come back to work and there's a note on the roll call. It's called GO15, which means you're in trouble and you need to contact the PBA attorney's office, which I did. And there was an investigation going on me and Michael that we were off post and drinking beer and stuff like that on post. I said, well, if we were off post, how did I know we were eating and drinking beer? We were obviously there. But I'm headed to the 9-0 where Brooklyn North Field Internal Affairs was. And again, Michael pops out the back door. Yo, where you going? I says, I got to go to the 9-0 for this thing. And he says, whatever you tell him, don't tell him we were drinking. And of course, I'm not going to tell him that we were drinking. I get down there, and that's when I first met that Joe Tromboli, that guy that was chasing us down for so many years. He was in the 7-5 documentary also. And he says, I don't care what you did. He says, I don't care if you were drinking beer. I want to know. I want you to tell me Michael Dowd drinking beer. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. We weren't drinking beer. Well, where did you go? I says, he took me to a bodega. We come back. We had some food and some soft drinks, and that was it. He said, there wasn't no beer in that bag? I said, I didn't see any beer in that bag, I swear. And that was that. I lost 2 days vacation. He lost 30 days vacation. That was the end of that. But that was the start of the department putting me and Michael together. After that, we played cards together. We went out to strip clubs together, him and a couple of other guys. And that's how I got to know Michael Dowd. Did I know what he was doing? Absolutely. Everybody knew what he was doing. Pretty much everybody in the precinct knew what everybody else was doing. They call us a crew. I guess so. But, there were other crews working in the 7-5 also at the same time. 9, 10, 15 guys in one crew. And they were doing the same thing we were.
Hitting licks.
It was all about the money and getting the drug dealers off the street. And Michael hooked up with Adam Diaz, one way or another. And, I wasn't involved in that, but I knew about it. And it was like this. The United States government, when they grabbed Sammy Gravano, they let him slide on 19 murders, as long as he would give them information, And basically, that's what we did with Adam. We let him slide, but he gave us information on all the other drug dealers. So we kind of used him as our government witness, unofficially.
But it's interesting because in the documentary, I don't know exactly, it doesn't lay you out particularly deeply, but Michael Dowd and Ural, what's his first name again? Kenny Ural, were in the employ of Diaz. Like they would give him tips, they would give him badges. Somebody ripped off Diaz's cocaine, and Dowd and Ural picked him up and gave him to Diaz, and that guy's never been heard of from again, right? So that's way deeper than getting information. So what did you do?
Who knows? He could be in the witness protection program now. Who knows?
What did you do? Were you the beef that like broke kneecaps and shit?
Well, let me put it to you this way. When I went into a building, I used to go in with an axe handle, and I didn't have to hit anybody twice. They usually gave it up the first time or even before they got hit.
Axe handle. Fuck. It's like Buford Pusser and shit. Really? Like you were talking about the cinder blocks in my studio here, like in Detroit, and you said it reminded you of East New York dope houses.
Yeah. They put cinder blocks up in the windows and the doorways. And, it didn't stop anything. I mean, if you wanted to make a racket, you just take a sledgehammer, just take them down.
Okay, well, look, you got arrested July 2nd, 1989, which I guess... 88. So July 2nd. So happy anniversary? Happy 35th anniversary?
I don't know. Does this air on July 2nd?
Well, it's holiday weekend. Long week. What did you get arrested for? Were you under investigation, or like you got arrested? Tell us about it. The night you got picked up, because
we went to a store on Livonia Avenue that was a money drop location. And that's what we were there for. We were there for the money. And we missed it by about 10 minutes. And the clerk, he knew me. I've been in there dozens of times. It's where I used to get my cigarettes on the way in or on the way out of work. That's where I pick up my beer on the way in or on the way out of work. He knew me. He knew who I was. And one of the people that were with me that night said, "Do you know where the money went?" And he says, "Yeah." And all of a sudden, he's in the back of the car. So he changed his mind, and I don't blame him. But he changed his mind, and we dropped him off, and I went to work. 3 hours later, Internal Affairs was in the precinct. They called me into the captain's office. They told me I was being detained for off-duty robbery. And that was it. So about 15, 20 hours later, they put me under arrest for robbing the grocery store. Now, nothing for nothing, but they charged me with robbery, stealing $910 out of the cash register. So my thing was, look, we're in East New York, Brooklyn. There ain't a cash register within 5 miles of here that's got $900 in the till. They have when they get cash, they stick it down into a safe that's under the counter, like in Las Vegas at the table. They push it down underneath into a safe. And there wasn't no $910 in there. They couldn't show any receipts for the day or anything. They said I took all the, they said that we took the food stamps and everything. So anyway, they took me away, and then they locked up Chicky and another fella in the ensuing months. And that was that. I mean, it was front page news for a couple of weeks there, for a couple of months.
It really was. I looked it up. So you got convicted of it. Did you plead guilty?
I took a plea. I mean, I was facing 33 years to life.
But you didn't do it.
For the robbery.
But you didn't do it.
Robbery and the kidnapping. No, I didn't do it.
You didn't do robbery or kidnapping, but you took a plea. Why?
But we were there. There was
no. Here, man. They had you on a wire. You guys were wired up the whole time, because that's local. That's the feds.
No.
According to the documentary.
That was a different case. That was Michael's case in '92.
Well, that's what I mean. But I just think, am I wrong? Because it's fascinating me now. Like maybe you were implicated in all that, and they put some sweat on you.
When I was arrested in '88, Michael and that other guy didn't get arrested until '92.
Yeah.
That was after I got out of prison. So I pled to a attempted robbery in the 3rd degree. They dropped the kidnapping charge and the weapons charge, and I did 30 months in the state prison.
But why did you do that though? Why did you resolve to a plea if you knew that you didn't do it? Was it because all the other stuff that you knew was kind of hanging around and lingering that could come out, that could come down?
At that point, the deal included crimes known and unknown.
Okay.
When did the federal investigation start? So they weren't tapping you then?
He wasn't tapped.
If it wasn't already started by the time I took my plea, it started soon after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you a witness? Let me just put the street vernacular. Were you a rat? Did you give information as quietly as part of this deal?
No.
Okay.
No.
30 months in state prison. Where were you? Sing Sing?
No. I was in the medium. I was in Oneida.
In Oneida,
New York, which is like northern central New York. And then they transferred me up to Franklin, which is up near Clinton, where them guys escaped about 8-9 years ago.
Yeah,
right around there.
Another good movie. Another good. So you're a cop. You're a cop in the state prison system. Were you under special protection? Did you have to line up with the Peckerwoods or something like that? How'd you make it through 30 months?
The first year, they had me in protective custody, but it was a unit where there were other New York City cops and other cops from various agencies around the state, freaking child molesters, shit like that, which sucked. But I got into a couple of fights, spent some time in the box, and they transferred me out to a place. Where I was in Oneida was a working dorm. I mean, I went out every day. I wasn't always locked in the room. It was a functioning place. They transferred me to a place where they were going to put me in a fucking cage for 23 hours a day. And when I got there, I refused. So I went into population.
And what was that like?
Yeah. You went into population. You had to be marked.
I mean, general population, I assume.
It was like a schoolyard playground with grown-ups, really. Everybody was a drug dealer. There wasn't anybody in there for possession. We had all the drug dealers in New York in that jail. Everybody was a drug dealer. Nobody ever bought or used, according to them.
Anybody you knew?
Anybody you had put away?
Mm-hmm.
No, they made sure that kind of thing wasn't going to happen. But there were a few people that recognized the name and recognized me. I mean, how could you miss 6'5", 300 pounds with red hair? Which was obviously a long time ago. So I says, all right, well, I've been playing softball with you. I've been playing cards with you, pinochle. And I says, now what? And they said nothing. But I did get into a couple of fights from people that thought I was a cop. And, shit happens. Just take care of business. Like
white guys, black guys, Dominican guys?
Mostly the black guys. The Dominicans didn't give a shit because I was in tight with Adam at the time. He was still out on the street.
So you had some weight with Adam behind you. So
I didn't rat anybody out.
Did you get your ass stomped, or did you have to crew up with white cops or whatever?
No, I walked alone. It was me against them. I walked alone. I didn't join anybody, no groups, no gangs, no clubs, none of that shit.
So were there any dirty cops there that, maybe brought you something? Was that culture there?
Yeah, the CEOs, there was some CEOs that were, bringing stuff in, mostly cigarettes and liquor, or tattoo ink was a big thing. So if I had it in with a cop, some of the biker gangs would, approach me and say, get some ink in, get some ink in. And,
I gotta ask, because it's prison and everybody wants to. Did you get one up the ass?
Charlie.
One what? Tattoo?
No. Did you get raped?
Charlie.
Karen.
No. No.
He's 6. No.
That's fascinating. That's what I want to see.
No, it's not.
No, I mean, you see 6'5". That's why. I mean, please don't shut the answer now.
I'm not shutting the answer now.
I really want to know. We're guys. You want to know, don't you?
No.
Yeah.
I do. That's the thing. Don't go to prison.
Okay.
I'm saying, right? Is that true, Walter? I mean,
nobody smoked my butt.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah, but Walter would tell you about prison. That happens. Doesn't happen to him.
I'm sure it happens, but I would bet money that it did not happen to him.
No, I just want him to talk about
prison.
Thank
you, Karen. Thank you.
Well, I knew that, Mike, but I guessed that. But I just wanted you to talk about prison life. You're on one side of the law, then you're on the other side. And what do you see?
Back in the end, there were shower rooms. There was a slop sink room. If somebody wanted to get it or give it, there was places to get it or give it.
And it happened, didn't it?
I mind my own business.
Yeah,
in jail, you stay away from gambling, you stay away from the drugs, and you stay away from the faggots. Simple 3 rules, stay away from.
Why would you stay away from gambling?
Because if you get in debt to somebody, then they own you.
Mm.
How do you gamble if you don't have anything to bring to the table?
Then you shouldn't sit at the table, but some people do. It's like when you sit at Vegas and you're losing, the house comes over and says, you sign this marker.
Karen, where do you think the new jailhouse prostitutes come from?
I have no idea, Red.
You said own you. But I do got a quick question. I'm very curious to know. Coming from that generation of policing and doing what you did as an officer, what do you think policing is about these last 30 years? How can the people trust the police?
I don't think you should ever trust the police much. If they're there to help you because you called them, that's fine. But, if they're there and you don't know why they're there, you just mind your business. You start getting into their business, and then then all of a sudden your car is getting ticketed all the time, or your granddaughter is getting pulled over or something. There was a lot of money exchanging hands from good to bad to good in those days. Many cops in the precinct had their hands out.
Has that changed? What Red wants to know is like your generation, you either copied the previous generation or you infected the new generation or it stopped somewhere. Where are we? Did you learn it from the 60s, the 1960s police officers?
I learned it when I was a rookie cop. I mean, I knew corruption was going on in New York City before I became a cop. But anybody could justify anything that other people say they did wrong. I never took $1 from an honest man or an honest business, in the years that I was a police officer. It
begs the question.
I was basically taking money away from people that you wouldn't have at your house for dinner.
Still,
unless you were a drug user.
Were you a gangster or were you a cop?
You got to be, in order to be a smart cop, you got to have a little gangster in you, and vice versa. You got to be, smart enough not to get caught. You have to be smart enough to coordinate things and be careful. I was on a number of capers.
But
when
capers.
I was in 75.
See, but you're talking about the gangster part, but you haven't talked about anything about protecting and serving, the cop part.
Oh, I did that. I was an active cop. I made my arrest. I handed out my summonses. I handled domestic disputes.
Give me an incident where you were proud of something as your time as a police officer carrying the shield to protect and serve.
All right. There was a car accident up on Pitkin Avenue, not too far from where that shooting was that was stated in the 7.5. There was a Cadillac that rode up on a sidewalk and wiped out a family. And they landed the helicopter down because people were missing limbs. And when the helicopter landed, I handed the little girl to the EMT that was in the helicopter. And he's like, "Where's her leg? Where's her leg?" And I looked down and she doesn't have both legs. It was jammed up underneath the bumper of this Cadillac. It was like a 74 Caddy, one of the big old boats. And there it was. There was her foot dangling down from underneath it. And I grabbed it and, as I'm handing the guy the leg in the door, he grabs me by the arm and the collar and pulls me in, closes the door, and off we went to Bellevue. Little girl's leg was saved. And I ended up taking the train from Bellevue all the way back to East New York, Brooklyn. That was pretty cool. I helped that. Unfortunately, the little girl lost, almost everybody in her family except her brother that night. So it was sad. I've seen some nasty things. I've seen people cut up, people chopped up, people stabbed, people shot. And I don't know if you got a little PTSD from it. I think everybody does. I think you're an idiot if you don't say it didn't affect you. Of course it affected me at that time.
Well, brother, I know like you did your time. And so life must move on. You did your time. But have you ever publicly apologized to all of us as society? Have you said, "I'm sorry for what I did and the oath that I broke"?
Well, we're like assholes. Everybody's got them. And what I did was when I got out, finally in 95, I decided not to go back to the city. I went and I moved upstate New York with the blessings of my father and started a new life. I went into social work and I worked with victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, which my knowledge from the police department came in handy. The local district attorney took notice and offered me a job in his office. knowing what my background was. And then he started getting phone calls from the local police that they wouldn't work with me, they wouldn't, contact me, they wouldn't do anything with me. So I had to pass on that. But I started a new family, and then ended up moving to the Chattanooga area with my new wife and my new son. And I got a job doing case management work for developmentally disabled people, and did case management work for 17 years. And I'm retired now. So you're asking if I apologized? No, I didn't stand on a soapbox and say, I apologize. I think I've accomplished my redemption through my actions, just like I accomplished, being a criminal through my actions.
That's true, and I believe you have.
Everybody recognized me being a criminal, and there's many, many, many people from all walks of life since I've been down here that have recognized me for my accomplishments since.
Well, look, let me say it this way. You've grown, life goes on, people improve, they become something more. It's still there, and I know, because I know. There's still a lot of anger and hard feelings about you in the police world and in the civilian world, and you're not 29-year-old Walter Urquhart, right? You're 64-year-old Walter Urquhart. Do you want to apologize for that young man now? Might go a long way.
I think I've done my duty. I think I've done my duty to the.
I think you have too, but it wouldn't hurt, and you might feel some absolution, and you might teach young.
I don't think it would hurt. It's not that I don't think it would hurt. That I think it would hurt. It's not going to help.
You mean?
Yeah, it's not going to help my situation.
What
the things that we talked about in the 7-5 when that officer was murdered and Michael was there and that other guy was there and I was there and such. And, in that instance that we were talking about in the documentary, and we weren't together when we filmed all this. We filmed that hundreds of miles apart from each other, 1,000 miles apart from each other, and months apart in between videoing that section of that part of the documentary. The emotion in there was true. And even to this day, people say they were all crocodile tears. So
I got what you're saying.
I'm not going to push the fact that, I'm sad I am sad that officer lost his life that night. And people are trying to say it was our fault we weren't the only dirty cops in the city. We just ended up being the most visible at that time. So
I never heard
if anybody thinks
in my whole life, and I've been around your precinct. I never heard a guy refer to himself as a dirty cop. That's actually an incredible thing to hear. You guys agree with that? I've never heard someone say that about themselves. Yeah, well, that's a hard thing to walk around with.
Definitely is some weight. But I got a question for you. How do you feel about dirty cops now? What is your opinion?
Well, I used to read, they used to call them interim orders, and it was a booklet. And each month or so it was updated. And in those updates were cops that did stupid things. And I used to read it. And, I would sit there and I would read it. And I still went the wrong way. My choice. Especially after the 7-7. I could have stopped. I could have not taken another nickel. And I probably would have retired if I stopped. But we didn't. I didn't. And I had no intention of stopping. The answer to your question is that after all that I've been through and the hundreds and hundreds of police officers in the last 35 years since I was arrested in 88, if they're still doing it, it's on them. It's on them. I speak to smaller police departments in this area, and I've been flown out to other areas and some colleges and such, and talk about my experiences in policing then and what policing is going through now. Mostly now people don't like cops because they keep violating, many people's rights. Smart citizen, good citizen is a smart citizen, and with that, the constitutional rights are being stepped on. And then people say to me, "Well, didn't you violate these people's rights by taking their money?" And I says, "Well, maybe I took money." I says, "But it was money from your brother, your sister, your mother, your uncle, your father, because the money doesn't grow in the ghetto. It gets there somehow. And it's stupid white people coming from the surrounding counties, Nassau County, Suffolk County, New Jersey, Staten Island, coming into East New York, Brooklyn, and spending their money there. That's the money that I was taking. I wasn't taking somebody that was selling cigarettes and liquor and
you were
food.
still busting kneecaps and heads, though. The axe handle. So that's a violation of rights, even if he is a dirtbag. But let me say this. This movie, The 7-5, again, you can see it on YouTube. This is, to me, not that to diminish your life and crass commercialism, but it should be a Netflix series. It should be a movie. Is there anything in the works here?
Well, as far as I know, the rights to the 7-5 story has been bought, by numerous film companies. The latest, I think, is Paramount. Sony had it for a long time, and now I think Paramount has it. And, there's talk every couple of years, that they want to make a feature.
They should. I get it. I lived in L.A. too, and yeah, there's that. But
there's also talk that you want to do, reality show on HBO.
No, don't cheapen it.
What we're doing now.
No.
I'm just saying what's in the works. You asked the question,
I'm just giving you free advice. No, look, dude.
It's all out there. I've been approached, and they want me to sign contracts and stuff, and I'm not signing contracts, for anything, unless I see what I'm signing for. I don't want to be, held down to a contract, for 3 years where I can't talk about the 7-5 because they own me now.
Everybody wanted to buy rights to my book. I wouldn't give it to them,
So
Right.
what do you look forward to when you wake up every day now, Walter? I mean, what gives you hope every day?
Well, I've done a lot of good things for me and my family. I'm divorced now. My son is 25. 24. He just turned 24. And, he's out on his own. I was able to give him one of my houses that I own. With free and clear. It's all paid for. And as long as he took it over and he wanted to redo it. I'm happy with him. He works full time, makes awesome money. I see him 2-3 nights when we go to the gym to work out, 2-3 nights a week. I live in the middle of nowhere. I'm surrounded by the forest. I have friends, good friends, and then there's Scoop. But I have good friends. I have, things. I have things to look forward to. I'm retired. I'm collecting, my deserved Social Security and my deserved 401k, and I made some good investments over the years. So, I'm not doing too shabby. People will say, "Well, you must have had a couple $100,000 of drug money left over when he got out of jail."
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, but $100,000 don't go far.
It's true.
$100,000 doesn't go far. You buy a car.
That's what they say
buy a
about
house
White Boy Rick. We had White Boy Rick on the show, and people think like 33 years ago somebody stashed $500,000 in a wall. I'm like, that wouldn't buy the Maserati the guy's got now. So, Anyway, Walt, we like to keep it tight. We like to keep it to an hour. Would you come back, man?
Sure, I'll come back.
Okay, I'm probably gonna.
Sure, I come back.
I'm gonna call your show this Saturday. I'm gonna get a couple of pops in me, and I'm like, this guy. Tell people where they can hear your radio show, man.
The radio show is called 7-5 Radio. You can get it on the Liberty News Network or 75radio.org. Go ahead and Google it, pull it up. we have an archives that go back 5+ years.
Wow.
Scoop and I have been doing this show since April of 2018. So it's over 5 years. We're a conservative-based show. We talk about the current news and events. When Robert De Niro a few years ago said, "Fuck Trump," I got on the air and I said, "Fuck De Niro." Good actor, but he should keep his mouth shut. All those actors, O'Donnell and Cher and all them that said they were going to Canada if Donald Trump got elected. Well, I still call them out.
See, on this show, we say, "Fuck all y'all." That's what we say. No fear, no favor. No.
Yeah, well, you're a Yankee like me. I don't use those Southern terms.
Well, I'm from Detroit, so we all came from the South, dude. So there's still a root here.
Oh well.
But anyway, I want to go out like this. Thank you, Walter Yerkew, for coming on, brother. Really interesting to talk to you. And when you're talking about this country and its meaning, it's who you're leaving behind, who you're raising, and it is the 4th of July. And I want to replay this clip of my friend's son, and his son is my friend. And this was when my last book came out. I was giving a reading at the Detroit library. Nobody does readings there anymore. And we were going through the take a knee argument and what, the Star Spangled Banner meant. And I said, you can do whatever you want to do with this. And the young man came up, just straight up. I called him up, CJ Anderjack, and I said, "Can you sing it?" And how old was he, Chris? 14? Yeah, probably 12, 13. It was memorable to me. So I hope he's going to come. Now he's a rock and roller. The guy's a beautiful musician. This is the young man that I know. And I'll say happy 4th of July to everybody. God bless America. Have a safe holiday, Karen.
Thank you. You too.
Red. Careful at the Normandy there, drinking out there.
And you too, Mark.
On the corner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight? But the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, can't this star-spangled banner yet reign? For the land